What's up, everyone? DKRACK here, about to react to another video for you guys. I'm about to react to a new Mr. Nightmare video. Guys, it's currently 1:15 a.m., 1 o'clock at night. I don't know why I'm reacting to this right now, Mr. Nightmare. It's probably a bad idea. I'm out at work all by myself, and yeah, it's probably a bad idea, but I've had a lot of you guys want me to check out Mr. Nightmare's new video, so we're going to do that. 3 Scary True Find My iPhone horror stories. So I guess on iPhones and newer smartphones and stuff, there's like an app or something that if you lose your phone, you can log into a computer and like find out the location of your phone or something like that. So guys, we're going to check out this new video by Mr. Nightmare. Like always, guys, I'll have a link to the original video down below. Make sure and go check out Mr. Nightmare. I really like his videos. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and check out this new Mr. Nightmare video right now. Find my iPhone horror stories.
I went to a bar with a couple friends one Saturday night. We got really drunk and eventually all spread out throughout the bar as we went to talk to different people. Long story short, I was having a bad night and I wasn't feeling the whole bar scene really. I called an Uber home, which was about 15 minutes away. The Uber pulled up, but instead some old crappy looking 2003 or something Honda Accord pulls up in front of the bar. I knocked on the window and asked, "Mike?" He nodded, so I got in the passenger seat, only because the front seat was covered with books and other stuff that appeared to be junk. In fact, the entire car was messy, the back seats too. He didn't seem like the kind of Uber driver to joke around and make conversation with. He was on the older side, not that old, but his hair was thinning and based on what I could see of his face, he looked kind of unfriendly. So I kept silent. I was pretty drunk though, so I barely remember what I was doing, probably drunk texting people and whatnot. I'm telling you, I was blackout drunk because I don't remember even getting out of the car. All I really remember is waking up the next morning and realizing my phone was missing. I checked everywhere. I practically turned my whole room upside down looking for it. Eventually, after hours of searching, I came to the unfortunate acceptance that I must have lost my phone the night before. I had my brother text all my friends asking if they had my phone. All of them said no. Then I remembered I recently activated Find My iPhone. I excitedly told my brother to track my phone using the Find My iPhone app. Sure enough, my iPhone came up on the map. It was a few miles away, on the much worse side of town, the part of town everyone knew not to go to. My brother agreed to come with me, not only to help track the phone, but to serve as backup if needed. We pulled up to what appeared to be the house that the iPhone on the map was sitting over. It was a small box-like house. 2 windows in front, 1 window on the upper level. It was either 8 or 9 p.m., still early, so my brother and I went ahead and rang the doorbell. It didn't seem like the bell worked though, so I knocked really hard on the door. We could actually hear footsteps on a creaky wood floor approaching the front door, then silence. There was a peephole in the door, so I had a feeling someone was watching us through it at that very moment.
Ugh.
After an uncomfortably long silence, the door cracked open and someone asked who it is in a very raspy, almost familiar voice. We mentioned the lost iPhone situation. At first he played dumb, but when I turned to the driveway and recognized the old Honda Accord, I called him out for being my Uber driver and that I must have dropped my phone in his car. At this point he opened the door fully and revealed himself to indeed be my Uber driver. Now he acted like he remembered, but his whole persona and everything was disturbing. He clearly didn't know what social cues were, or forget that, he clearly just didn't know what social skills were. He told us to come in and shut the door behind us. Then he told us to wait there while he went upstairs to find my phone. I thanked him, and as creepy as the guy was, I felt relieved that I'd be getting my phone back. My brother and I stood in the tiny hallway of this man's tiny house. It was so archaic inside. The finishing, the design, everything. The floral wallpaper covering all of the walls. Looks like it belonged in a house built in the 1930s. The stairs that the man walked up were creaky and sounded like they were ready to collapse. We heard the man walking around upstairs for a bit. The creakiness followed his every step until we heard him stop directly overhead. My brother and I patiently played the waiting game, with my checking my watch every minute or so. He seemed to be up there for a total of 10 minutes. My brother and I got so impatient at this point that we started calling up the stairs asking the man if he needed help. We heard a slight creak in the floor right above us again, but he didn't call back. My brother told me to go upstairs.
What does the dude do? Does he have his phone or
so I hesitantly did.
Is he a liar?
As I got halfway up the stairs, I realized it was insanely dark up there, which made me wonder how he could even possibly be looking for my phone. I got to the top. There seemed to be 3 open doors, one leading to a bathroom, the other 2 leading to bedrooms. All the lights were off except for a little hallway light.
That's freaking creepy.
I called out for the man again.
This guy's being shady as...
I called down the stairs to my brother, saying that all the lights were off and something wasn't right. He didn't answer for some reason. I checked the bathroom. Empty. I was about to check one of the bedrooms, passing the door to the bathroom, but I stopped when I saw something through the crack of the bathroom door. The man, he was hiding behind the door, holding something in his hand. I felt like he was looking at me.
Wow!
I didn't look for more than a second. I looked away and pretended I didn't notice. I had to get downstairs ASAP. I nervously called out to the man that I'd be going downstairs and that I'd be right back. I walked with a certain speed and jumped my step right to the stairs, at which point I booked it and screamed for my brother to follow me. My brother emerged from one of the other rooms downstairs after apparently snooping around, and without questioning it, followed me outside to the car.
This guy like a serial killer?
We drove down the block as I explained in full what happened. The next thing we did was dial 911 for the police. An officer showed up to the house where we returned, showed the officer the Find My iPhone app screen, and knocked on the door with the officer. The man would eventually answer, and the officer forced the man to fetch the phone. This time he did without hesitation. He went up the stairs and 10 seconds later came back down.
What?
My brother and I begged the officer to arrest him or do something, given that he looked as if he were waiting to strike me as he was behind that door. The officer said there was nothing he could do though, and I swear as I said this, the Uber driver looked at me with the most disgusting, disturbing, and evil stare I'd ever seen. I gave him the middle finger and turned away as we left the house, which felt good slightly, but I still get scared thinking about seeing that man behind that door, very clearly holding something in his hand, most likely waiting to attack me if I were to see him.
That's messed up. Was it like a knife or was he straight up trying to kill this guy or murder him? I don't know.
Before I got an iPhone 10, I used to have an iPhone 7. I was perfectly fine with that phone and I never got a scratch on it. I'd probably still have that phone now if I didn't lose it. I always had the Find My iPhone feature enabled, however, just in case if I did lose it, I'd be able to track it. To this day, I still don't remember how or where I lost the phone. All I remember is I came home one day, quickly realized I didn't have my phone on me, and had a mini heart attack. I searched the whole house, my car, the pathway up to the house. I even drove back to all the locations I was in that night to look for it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Then I remembered I could sign into my iCloud account from my laptop and track my iPhone using the Find My iPhone setting. So I drove home and did just that. Apparently my phone was coming up somewhere in the woods at the end of the village. None of my siblings were home at the time. They were all away at school, so I couldn't ask any of them to come with me. So it looked like I was heading out alone. My dad didn't want me to come because
it's never good to go alone.
Morning, but he let me take his phone with me to track my phone. It was a quick 5 to 10 minute drive to the woods. I parked on the grass on the side of the road. It seemed like I was maybe a minute walk north away. Obviously I brought my flashlight expecting to be following the trail into the woods. Now that I stood there though, the idea of going in there was a lot less appealing. In fact, the whole situation seemed more suspicious. Such as why whoever found my phone would be in the middle of the dark woods at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell.
I definitely shouldn't have come alone. But at this point,
hell no,
I didn't see
you
much more
shouldn't
of a
have.
choice than following the trail. The flashlight I had sucked. It barely lit up the trail 5 feet in front of me. Eventually, it seemed like I was right on the mark of the location for my phone. I did a full 360, examining my surroundings, but seeing nothing but darkness and trees.
That is like a straight up
I started
trap.
yelling for somebody to come out. It was the first time I heard
Why
my
would
own
your
voice
phone
in
be in the
out,
middle of the
and it came
woods?
out weak and unintimidating. When I called out, I heard a whispering come from beyond a few trees, in the east direction on my map. I yelled out again. Silence this time now. I started sending texts with my dad's phone to my phone, and I heard the dings coming from the same direction as the whispering.
Oh!
I looked in that direction and saw the glow of a phone screen so bright that it lit up the figures of 2, maybe 3 men standing behind a line of trees. At that exact moment, I had a realization in my head that I was in way over my head being in those woods alone, and that
Get
my iPhone
out
was
of
in no
there,
way
bro!
worth risking my life.
Hell no!
I turned the flashlight off and ran back down the trail as fast as I could, back to my car. By the time I got back, my phone could no longer be located on the Find My iPhone app, meaning it was either broken, disconnected, or turned off. I have checked a few times since then if the phone comes up on the map. It never has, though. I think I made the right choice running away. I don't think any possession would be worth approaching a group of people like that in the woods.
Why would you go in the middle of the woods to find... Oh my god. No phone is worth your life.
I recently lost my iPhone. It was a 5C, a really old one. I was due for another one anyway, but let me tell you the story of how I lost it. I had admittedly been drinking one night on the weekends, and at some point in the night I lost my phone. Later on in the night, when my friends and I sobered up a bit, I asked one of my friends to let me use their phone to track mine using the Find My iPhone thing. It wasn't too far actually, only a mile away from us, but that meant someone took my phone. My friend Ryan and I took a drive to this abandoned warehouse building. Of course, it had to be an abandoned building.
Oh my god.
We found a way inside,
These are so
with only Rye's
creepy.
phone flashlight to use for navigation. The place was cold, full with trash and rubble, and every little sound created an echo. We heard yelling coming from upstairs, from what sounded like 2 people.
Probably like
Ryan
a
and I figured one of them had to have
drug
my
dealer's
phone.
hideout.
So still, with a slight amount of liquid confidence in us, we found a stairway that led to the next level. We came to a hallway, which was disturbingly silent. The only thing to break the silence was a bang from a nearby locker room type area.
Get your
Ryan and I
ass out
both
of
tried
there.
hard to make our presence known so that we wouldn't surprise any potentially dangerous people. We entered this kind of changing room area, or whatever it was, but it had a bunch of lockers. No one was in the room. Rye started checking the lockers out of desperation, which made a lot of noise, I guess, because we heard a deep voice from another room call us over and said that they had what we were looking for. I was about to walk into the adjacent room, but Rye put his hand on my shoulder to stop me and put his finger on his lips as he went, shh. He was doing something on his phone. I didn't know what until I heard my ringtone and the vibration of my phone coming from one of the lockers.
Why would your phone be in a random warehouse,
Too many to
bro?
distinguish quick enough which one it could be. I started checking the ones where the sound could have been coming from before Rye pulled me by the arm and told me, let's go. I told him, wait, let me get my phone first, but he kept saying, no, let's go. By the time we got to the car, we had a long discussion about what was going down in there.
That's like some deep
or
web
what was about
crap.
to go down.
Be kidnapped.
Rye was positive we were walking straight into a trap. How he was so sure was because as I was checking the lockers for my phone, he spotted someone's head behind one of the walls to the adjacent room. They were peering their head in just barely, making it obvious they were hiding and had questionable intentions.
No! My ass will be
It
out of
wasn't the
there.
end of the world. It was an old iPhone that wouldn't have been worth much anyway. It was much better to escape with our wallets, or even our lives instead.
Bro! Alright guys, that was 3 Scary True Find My iPhone horror stories by Mr. Nightmare. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, smack the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Guys, we're almost at 20,000 1,000 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel. It means a lot. Also, like I said, I'll have a link to the original video down below. Make sure and go show Mr. Nightmare some love. But alright guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.